This is Dave, and welcome to Equity Story. This is the Hound. This is the Wolf, although he's called Peter Kopetz today. And this is just a general share advice and not personal advice. And we're going to be looking at the markets and looking at stories and hopefully giving you some decent advice. Now, Wolf, let's start at EM2 because we've been saying now for last week we like the story and we don't understand the price action. Why has it been selling down? And of course, silly us.
How we do?
Now we do. Capital raise. So hopefully this is very normal for this type of businesses. They're going to need money and money and money and money and money. You just got to hope the project still keeps growing and it makes sense to keep giving it money. And so far, I think it does. So I'll be interested to see what the raise is, Wolf, if it's up near 45 or 48 or down as low as 40, but hopefully it'll be a good raise and they can get it done fairly quickly.
Yeah, look, frustrating for the shareholders, understandable, but that's just the nature in this space, isn't it?
Oh, yes, definitely. Now, Wolf, can I talk about, there's two stories today. I just think it's interesting from a educational point of view because we spoke about this earlier and you really made a point to me which sort of, I don't know, it sort of shook me a little bit. So you got sort of 88E, which had a run up, and we were saying before this is FOMO, so just take profits, be careful, blah 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 blah, and sort of they've got some oil shows, but they looks pretty weak, so the market's obviously not too impressed, selling it off a little bit, and then you've got something like CVN that comes up and says I think some sweet oil, or I don't know what they called it. I don't know if they drink it or something. I don't know. So they obviously found some.
Maybe they hit honey, Dave.
Maybe they hit honey. But anyway, it was enough to send the share price pretty high at one stage. It's up 17% now. Now, I think it's really important you get this message across, Wolf. And I'm going to let you get the message across because it's your message.
Yeah, I mean, look, this is just from experience. What I've seen over many, many years is that the initial messages from companies in the oil and gas space, especially when they say there's a discovery, there still has to be more information released and more testing to be done. So just because it's called a discovery at a certain level, it actually doesn't mean it's going to be commercial down the track. So you've got to have the distinction between a discovery and what actually might mean further down the track. So for me, it's a very complicated space, very difficult to trade, and really probably very difficult to understand the mechanics of it all, to be honest, unless you are across it all and maybe have done some background checking and do some research on some of these companies. But like I said, it's interesting how that sort of dynamic of these things flow, where everyone's hoping for the discovery. Yes, they come out and say we've hit oil, whatever, or gas. Everyone get excited, but of course there is just so much more information that we need to see and know. And there's gas flow rates, there's the porosities, there's all those little things that still come with it, whether it can actually be commercial further down the track. So for me, still always high risk. It doesn't matter if they come up with say discovery or not discovery. It's always a high risk. So just be careful. That's all probably the message is here. Just be careful.
And sort of if you're in it, you'd be taking a profit, right? You wouldn't be standing there, or at least taking some chips off the table.
I'd say so. I think so. You'd be first of jumping up for joy that you've got you're on a winner, but you'd probably protect yourself first and foremost. Just from a technical point of view, because there's a big gap through anyway, and from a fundamental point of view as well, because like I said, there's still probably a bit of information to come. And that doesn't necessarily, it's going to be all positive. There could be some negatives in there.
Yeah, Wolf, and look how it moved back in 2019, where most probably had some decent oil shows and suddenly fell off a cliff. There's your story.
Exactly.
There's your story in the past. So again, it just shows. I know you always say to me, Dave, I just stay away from these type of plays. They're just way too risky, too dangerous, and they're complicated, aren't they?
Yep.
Right. Next question. CXL up again, another 9%. Good looking chart. Had it on Einstein's.
Yep.
Very, very expensive, Wolfie. I think it's good news. Their plant in Germany, their renewables plant. I think it was a few. Looks like it's going to get up and running, and it's all looking pretty exciting. But for me, technically, this is a sell now. So if you're in this and you've had a move and you made a bit more money on it, it's been on Einstein since that buy signal at 614. It's had a nice move. For me, I'm taking a profit on this now. And again, it's gone from what, $1 to $7.
Yeah, I know.
700%. And it's expensive. So yeah, we played the charts. It went through the buy signal. There is resistance at $8 for me. This is a profit-taking time.
You've got to probably ask yourself, has that business improved by 700% over the last 12 months? And I think the answer is probably going to be no. Has the revenues increased by 700% to justify the move? Probably the answer is no. So you're definitely probably looking here at a lot of FOMO. It's in a great space. Don't get me wrong. I like the company, but I think the move from early 2021 to what we were at right now, 12, 13, 14 months, it's just too much, I think, in a short space of time. So it needs a bit of a breather. So yeah, look, I'm in the camp of you. I think probably fundamentally, technically, profit taking.
PLT. Now, really frustrating stock. So fundamentally, win, 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 win. Hit, 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 hit. Growth, 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 growth. Share price goes down, 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 down.
Yes.
Right. And again, another startling good, strong announcement today. Except, unfortunately for me, Wolf, I can't buy it technically. Because technically it's below trend, it's below water, and we just don't buy stocks unless they're, especially on these sort of micro caps or sort of smaller caps, which are below the water level. So, what did you make of it?
You can see how tough the market is right now when a company comes up and saying, guys, we're actually profitable, right? We've actually updated our profits, yet it's still languishing at lows. So it just shows you how difficult it is to trade and invest in this space right now. What we can do, the best thing we can do is put this on our watch list because it's a good story. It's delivering, it's growing, it's actually profitable as well. As long as, of course, they can maintain that and not a one-off, like a one-off show-off pony. So put it on our watch list and we'll probably talk about it Friday or some other time when we are ready to get back into these stories.
Yeah, definitely. It's just got to get over trend. It's got to be swingy, and we want to try and take easier money, not the hard money.
Correct.
Fisher and Paykel. So issues there, Wolf. They're down 5%. They come back down. There's maybe a little bit of support around 23.73. We had a look at the valuations, and again, trading at 30 times, it's expensive.
It is, but not as expensive as like RMD, which we'll talk about in a sec. But relatively speaking, this is expensive still. When you see today's announcement with a little bit of turmoil in there, which is, I think, margins pressure, supply chain issues pressure, and of course, they talked about that, because of COVID has eased, they don't need as many respirators as they used to during the pandemic highs. So overall, our business is right now is going through a little bit of a pullback on the back of it was a pandemic stock, not anymore. So it just has to, for me, I think it just needs to lose a little bit more FOMO in there. I mean, I don't know how locking can go. I'm thinking, maybe I'm being greedy, Dave, but looking maybe at $20 would be my sort of look through to see where we can go on this.
Let's try and look at this on a longer term chart, and really, it had a nice move up in its sort of COVID. When
did the pandemic start? Let's have a look at when the pandemic started.
Well, there, it's sort of, it's sort of where it was. I mean, it was having a nice move before then, to be honest.
Okay.
And this is on the monthly, but you'd want it to hold if you look at it on a monthly, at least 25.16 by the end of the month, and it doesn't look like it's going to do that. So
not with that announcement, Dave. I don't think. If it was a positive announcement, I'd think, yeah, maybe you got a chance, but not with that announcement. I think it's actually heading into that $20.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? So around that $20, maybe you'd.
We would look at it again and say, okay, let's have a look where we are right now. Let's see what the announcements have been over the last maybe month or two, and then make a decision whether we be a cheeky nibble.
Wolf, PLL. A lot of people ask you about this stock. I think there's a few people in it. It looks to me on this chart a bit of resistance at $1, but I think they're raising more cash than they originally forecast in America. Was that correct?
Yeah, obviously it seems like there's a decent support for this. So potentially maybe it will be a winner listing on the US exchange.
Wolf, another stock announcement day was SXE. Now, this is a juicy dividend play. So we got it as part of our dividend stocks.
Yep.
One, obviously, that we like the story. And I think I'll just confirm the dividend for people who are not in this.
I'm looking at it
So,
right now.
I think a dividend grossed up around 8,
7%.
7%. Okay. And but some good announcements today. So that's what you want to see, Wolf. You're in a dividend stock, getting good announcement, contract wins,
Mm-hmm.
very, very comfortable and that what an excellent dividend it is as well.
Yeah, I mean, look, 7% trading on what 9.5 times PE, contract wins. As long as they can maintain the margins, happy to hold.
Wolf, ICC, iCandy. Now starting to move into a similar space of PLY. Can you
Elaborate on
explain?
that?
Yeah.
Yep. All right. So PlaySide is a AAA gaming company developing games for different consoles and online and mobiles. They've been very successful. They've been doing it for some time. They've recently moved into the Metaverse space, which is the cryptos and NFTs. And they've been actually quite successful at this very early stage, right? So it's pretty exciting for PLY. So I can see ICI is following suit. So today's announcement, they're saying they're moving to the Metaverse, had I think, collaboration with another company with the revenue sharing arrangements, talking about a guaranteed revenue of $4 million already. Interesting. So look, I suppose they're following in the footsteps of PLY. Can they be as successful as them? Because PLY has already released their NFTs and will probably are building out a Metaverse world for their little dumb way to die franchise. So it's got to be interesting to see how ICA goes, whether it's going to be as successful. Remember, I think from my point of view, this is a run below PLY in quality wise. They had to buy their growth. PLY is doing it organically. So for me, would definitely prefer the PLY story to ICA, but it'll be just interesting to see whether they can actually be successful with building out this Metaverse. One to watch.
Lastly, but not least, CTT.
Yep.
Ugly share price, and the founder sells now. I don't know if that's really the best time to sell shares. I mean, I suppose maybe he didn't have any choice. Maybe he bought a boat or a house, or I don't know. But I mean, it just looks ugly, doesn't it? Looks ugly.
Dave, there's probably from my shareholder point of view, there's never a good time when your managing director sells shares. And then there is do not ever sell shares when your price is going down, like abandoning ship. And this is what's happening here. This is such a bad look. It's such a bad look. It is not funny. I don't know who told him to do it, advised him to do it, but my goodness me. Even if you have to buy a boat, Dave, I think you probably wait until you get the share price back over 250.
Yeah, but in all fairness, he's still got 56%, Wolf, of the.
It doesn't matter. It's you don't sell stuff when the ship is sinking, Dave. It's like the captain jumping off. That's the look. That's the perceived look you get from investors, even though he's still holding like a huge chunk, right? It's just not a good look. It's just not a good look.
But he does say it's going to give greater share trading liquidity.
Okay.
They all say that, don't they? But I don't know.
Yeah, they have to come up with some sort of spin, isn't it? Why they sell? Someone's buying a boat. Someone's liquidity. Someone's got tax issues. What other excuses we had? Oh yeah, divorce.
Yeah,
we've heard them all, haven't we, Dave?
Yeah, no. But anyway, say la vie. Next time, sort of try and sell when you're at $4.
Yeah.
It looks.
Look at Kogan's track record. Sell at the top, not at the bottom.
Yeah, he's done. How is old Kogan doing? How's he doing? Ooh, doesn't look very good. Maybe a bit of support around here. $5, Wolf.
Maybe.
I wouldn't be buying it, but it's hopefully. I mean, we like this story. Hopefully, one day it'll get back on track and we can start.
It's just going through a bit of troubled times, isn't it? But
yeah,
eventually it will come around. I'd say it's still a overall deep down inside, Dave, a very good business.
Wolf, the market's generally up today.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder how old Einsteins are getting on today. Maybe have a quick look here. See what we're up to. So that's all right, Wolf. We're seeing a bit of green. Those buy signals are are ticking through. I mean, some of the bigger buy signals, one we like, Macquarie, it's gone through that buy signal very nicely, hasn't it?
And look at that. Look at that. Ooh, yes. For those that were buying on the buy signal, not a bad little profit already.
Yeah, TUA hasn't quite gone through, but it's still looking, it's still looking at that EOL. That's gone through very nicely, hasn't it? On the buy signal, it looks excellent. I wonder what little Jin's up to. Yeah, it's starting to go, isn't it? Looks doesn't too bad. What's little MNS up to? Oh, I still don't mind it. Oz4X. This is my favorite out of them all, Wolf. This is like a coil. I mean, come on, it's got a. Maybe next week it goes, but I do like it. Those little high risk energy
What about
stocks.
CWI? Is that going yet?
CWY.
Yeah.
That was your favorite, wasn't it?
Yeah. Well, Macquarie is my favorite. OFX and CWI was.
Well, it's okay. The price action so far so good. You'd be holding in there.
Yep.
Yeah, the materials are plenty of green there. I think these industrial stocks are even looking better. What's the whole Seek doing? Seek, yeah, could do a little bit more, couldn't it? New Farm.
Look, Dave, you got to give it a credit. It's over trend lines for a tech stock.
Yeah,
a lot of them are really struggling, and this one's over the trend line, so it's not bad.
A New Farm, it's over $6 now, so hopefully maybe that can go on and test that $6.50 level. Yeah, sort of banks aren't doing too badly. So yeah, Einstein's ain't too bad this week's Wolf. I mean, they're not 1 week trades; they're more like 4, 5, 6, 7 week trades. But
I think so. I think unless, like I said, unless you're getting like a quick 5 to 10% return out of a big story like a Macquarie in 2 or 3 days, I'll probably take it.
Look, I'll tell you what, Wolf. Look at IGO, right? Had a buy signal 3 weeks ago. Didn't do anything last week. These commodity stocks just got a little bit hazy, didn't they? But look at this week. Started going with it. Now, there's a possibility this could end the week at record highs, and yummy.
And you know what? The other thing is, Dave, it struggled because of that issue we had with the short squeeze on nickel. Now that's being sorted out. This is another one of those coil stocks that potentially can just go boom.
Yeah, no, it does look good. Yeah,
Quietly.
a few bigger wins. What's that? Cobalt having look at the Cobalt play.
Wow. Yeah, I know.
Look at them. They did nothing last week, and bang, this week, hello.
Just shows. Sometimes you get a week of a bit of profit taking, right?
Well, you just got, as long as it holds up the first week in the top part of the candle, or look, it might go on in next week or 2 weeks, but generally speaking, we're looking at momentum, and the momentum is there. And let's have a look at a little AGI, and it needs to do a little bit better. It's recovered, Wolf, but I'd like to see this above one.
Come on, what about my FISA from yesterday, SLX? Is that going up?
Have a look at, well, that had a good chart. Let's have a look at SLX.
It wasn't a FISA. I'm just kidding. It was good.
Yeah, listen, I don't mind it. You know what? And if it holds there by the end of the week, you'd be buying that.
Yeah, that looks so great, doesn't it? Anyway, it's a bit of interesting stories, aren't they? There's a cross section actually of them, which look very good. I was so surprised to see like a Macquarie, CWY, Dave, OFX, all these nice industrial stories that really had good, buy signals, some of them, and some of them were really bullish. And I thought to myself, I think the market's telling us something to get some of these stocks for a quick trade.
Well, definitely. The industrial stories have been really weak of late, and it's just good to see, things like DGL and
absolutely
ANG and BLX. Some of them, just looking at HPI looks good.
It is very encouraging for our market to see those charts looking so good.
Yeah, these are the important companies. On that note, Wolfie, listen, thank you very much. No sort of official trade that today, but hopefully some useful information for members of Equity Story.
Yeah, half day is always difficult to give a trade, Dave. I think maybe now it's time to wait till the end of the week.
Thanks, Wolfie. Take care.
Cheers.
Bye.
Bye.